30th. Didn't get a whole bunch done yesterday. Put some panels on that tractor. But yesterday we had Christmas with the in-laws, so they all came over. I'm just gonna plug in these tractors here. I'm gonna make some feed. It's only about -9, but right off the window. Everything benefits from a plug-in for a few hours. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. And then I'm gonna head back into the shop. I was making pretty good strides on that tractor. Just a sec. It's amazing how loud this is. So this says it's what? I think it said it was a 1500 watt heater. Some of them are 1000. But yeah, like almost instantly when you plug it in, you can just hear the coolant and everything bubbling away in there. So I do got a couple kind of more pressing projects that have reared their ugly heads. One being my lights on my telehandler. I had blown a fuse in it. Didn't know why. Pulled it out. It was a 30 amp fuse, which I thought was kind of ridiculous for lights because there's not a lot of lights on there. So all I had was a 10 and a 20. Put the 10 in, it blew instantly. Put the 20 in, it blew instantly. So I waited till the 30 amp fuses came in. We ordered some and put one of them in. It didn't blow, but it melted. So, I mean, once you hit that point of the fuse won't blow, but it melts. I'm not even sure how that happened or why that happened, but you're flirting with disaster, right? You're gonna actually really cause a problem if you don't address the situation. And potentially the problem is like burning the machine down or melting your whole entire fuse box panel. And I really don't want to do that again because, well, that's why this guy is the way he is right now, because all of his electrical stuff melted this fall. So yeah, yesterday I was out here for a little bit before the in-laws came over. Tried to get a bunch of these panels back on. There's a couple more front and back and stuff to go on there. Today I think I'm gonna stick the lights or the windows that I have back in, because the more time they spend laying on the floor here, the more time they're exposed to potentially having something dropped on them or someone stepping on them or tripping over them. And at this point, there's only 3 that are broken. So, all right. Well, I got a couple pieces of glass put back into there, and I got the bolts and stuff that hold the panels on. Of course, that's not the original engine. I believe these had a Waukesha in them, and apparently the harmonic balancer was the Achilles heel in those. So Dad put a Detroit in here. So it's kind of neat. You know, I can see what he had to do to make everything fit again. And I mean, unfortunately, it doesn't fit perfectly straight or perfectly tight, but it's pretty good. So I'm gonna put pause on that for a minute though, because my hands are getting sore. So trying to like work that rubber around and stuff like that. I mean, there's probably, as I said about the painting and the auto body, the body work and stuff. You know, the masking and taping and the priming and the prep and everything. When you watch a real expert, someone who really knows the tricks of the trade do it, they're so fast, they're so efficient, and when they're done, the job's done right. I expect, you know, people that put the windows in too, they know how they got the special hook tools and they know the tricks of the trade and everything. But for me, it's just a couple screwdrivers or some of those plastic wedges and stuff. And you fight, you struggle. I did put a little bit of Gojo on the rubber to help slide the glass in, but still, after a few windows, yeah, my hands were getting sore. So, and it's not like I don't have more to do. I got, look at that guy. That's the fuse I put in for the lights. It actually melted the fuse. Now the fuse still works. I just used a fuse tester, and yeah, the fuse didn't blow, but it melted. So obviously I got a little too much heat, because that shouldn't be happening. And I'm wondering kind of if it's related to when the steering fuse blew, but in order to get at it, it's a bit tricky. So problems like this in agriculture are very frustrating when you have to get a mechanic, because about 95%, I would say, and that would be probably conservative, of the time is spent just taking off guards, taking off armrests, taking off panels, taking out seats, taking out dashes, taking out everything to try to find the problem. Then the problem is an instant fix. So you are spending, you know, that hourly rate of whatever it may be, 100, 200, whatever your shop rate and your field rate are in your area, to pay a journeyman mechanic to take guards off. And that's, you know, that's kind of one of the frustrating things. It's where do you go from that? I mean, yeah, the mechanic's a mechanic and they deserve their wage, but yeah, it's frustrating to pay somebody $100 or $120 an hour field rate, or $150 just to take guards off, and then they spend 10 seconds fixing a broken wire, and then they got to put all that stuff back on, and your bill is like $1,800, and the parts were like $40, right? It's all labor and travel. So we definitely try to do this if we can do it, and having this shop, I mean, although it's not as big as it should be, we certainly have enough smaller pieces of machinery that require maintenance that we can put it in here and do it ourselves. A project like this is going to take me, I'd say, a couple hours to get all this stuff out of there. One of the biggest time issues is trying to take it out without breaking it, because every single company seems to use a different clip. Plugins are another big one. Everybody uses a different plugin. Some have little tiny screws. You got to take the screw out to unplug it. Most of them have clips. Some clips you pull, some clips you push, some you slide. So you're trying to figure all this stuff out, and I mean, you're really pooched if you actually break one, because I mean, now you got to figure out how to get that to hold together again. You know, it's just the joys of it, I guess. But I'm going to what am I going to do? Go find 1,000 different screwdrivers, because somebody's also been at this, and I knew that when I bought the machine. The guy, he said where it came from. Those mechanics are more like, in order to get this panel off, they just pry it off with a pry bar, and then they throw it in the bush. And that's just the way it is, because I think the longevity of the machines where this came from weren't very good. So by the time all the guards are smashed out of it and everything else is wrecked, the whole machine is wrecked. So then it just goes for salvage and they get a new one. This one must have been somewhere in the middle. They had, because it's not too destroyed, believe it or not, for where it came from. It's still got most of the pieces intact. Behind the seat there, they did quite a bit of damage, but funny anyways, funny. Okay, well, I just finally decided this wasn't going to work until I got the seat out, and then I could actually get at some stuff. So here's what we found. Now, that's obviously a mouse nest, or what used to be a mouse nest, and that's never good in your wiring, because the little buggers, they'll chew it all up. This big black cord right here was an afterthought, obviously, by the mechanics that had worked on this before me. And they are what gets power up to the lights. This stuff, no matter if you're a trained mechanic or not, or if you're just a farmer like me, the problem always shows itself. I'm not sure if you've already pointed it out or not. This isn't the best light, but should be able to see it. Okay, so this is the big wire down here. They got it teed off. So you follow this wire up, and what do you encounter? Well, you encounter it going into this wire, where the wire's bared off, melted, and has been touching that bolt going to ground. So obviously you can't have that. It just won't be effective. So we got to remedy this situation, figure out exactly where this black wire goes to, and then get it trimmed up, rehooked up, clean that mouse nest out of there, clean some of the coal dust out of here, and see if we can get some lights happening again.